Test 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay. Namandam, 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 namandam.
Good morning. I am Darren Katayama, and I will serve as your MC for today's Obon Family Service. As explained by Reverend Blaine, Obon is a special time to remember and celebrate our continuing relationship with departed loved ones who have been born in the Pure Land. Obon is truly a joyful celebration of memory which can offer us wisdom for living. A big welcome this morning to our guest speaker, Reverend Kerry Kiyohara and his family. Also, mahalo to all of you who are attending in person as well as virtually. As a reminder to those of you on Zoom, please have your mics muted throughout the entire service. Assisting Reverend Blaine at the temple with technical support are Zoom crew members Alan Matsumoto, Lynn Katayama, and Joey Guzman. Betty Takeoka will lead the singing. Please rise and let us start the service with the Vandana and T. Sarana. Please chant both the Pali and English parts together with Reverend Blaine.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namanda, Butsunamanda, 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 Butsunamanda.
Aspiration will now be shared by Reverend Blaine.
Please join me in Gasho. We gather in the spirit of aloha to remember our loved ones who have attained awakening in the Pure Land of Enlightenment. We extend our profound gratitude to them and reflect on how our lives have been made possible and enriched by their presence. During this time of Obon, we celebrate life and the enduring bonds of love which continue on. Obon is truly a gathering of joy in which both the living and those born in the Pure Land rejoice in the universal embrace of great wisdom and compassion. We take time to remember, to reflect, and to reconnect with our loved ones with profound appreciation and joy. Celebrating the infinite causes and conditions that sustain our lives, may we come to realize the truth of impermanence and deeply entrust ourselves to the compassionate vow of Amida Buddha and live with the Nembutsu in our hearts. Let us endeavor to listen to the Buddha Dharma with not just our ears, but with our entire being, and strive to embody the teachings in our thoughts, in our words, and in our actions for the happiness and the welfare of all beings. I go to the Buddha for guidance, the one who shows us the way in this life. I go to the Dharma for guidance, the way of understanding and love. I go to the Sangha for guidance, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Entrusting the dynamic activity of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion, we call the honored name of Amida, the Buddha of infinite light and life, in gratitude, joy, and awareness for the enlightenment in the life to come. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Please be seated. To honor our departed loved ones in joyful remembrance, I will now read names submitted by Sangha members. Please observe a period of silent reflection during this time. Hitoshi Aoki, Ayako Aoki, Yoshito Jones Aoki, Kazue Aoki, Dale Aoki, Kazuyoshi Aoki, Ethel Aoki, Dana Aoki, Pauline Aoki Yano, Lance Chang, Brian Buster Siriaco, Roberta Di Mello, Jane Emiko Fensky, Robert Flores Jr., Arthur Hamilton, Melvin Hayashida, Yasuo and Hatsuo Higa, Yonekichi Iwasaki, Shigemi and Nobue Kaitoku, Charles Katayama, Ichiji and Kimio Katayama, Chiaki and Sadie Kato, John Kawaihao, Christine Kawakami, Wally and Miyoko Kusano, Tokutaro and Naka Kusano, Ronald Lidner, Tadao and Yoshino Masutomi, Patrick Masutomi, Kazuko Mento, Sally Murakami, Hajime and Chimoto Murata Matsumura, Ernest Manabu Nakashima, Jace Nakashima, Tsuyoki Nakashima, Kiichi Omori, Kumiko Omori, Ross Oe, Risaburo Sakata, Matsue Sakata, Norman Sakata, Marilyn Sakata, Sueo Sakata, Wilbert Shiraki, Troy Shiraki, Satomi Takashiba, Herbert Takeue, Masako Takeue, Roy Torioka, Nozomu Uemura, Lloyd and Violet Watanabe, Noburo Yamamoto, Takeo Yamamoto, Toichi Yamamoto, Chise Yamamoto, Kokichi Yamamoto, Gilbert and Aiko Yamane. Let us now observe a moment of silent meditation. The Sutra, Amida Kyo, will be chanted by Reverend Blaine. The following is an explanation of the chant. Along with the larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life and the Contemplation Sutra, the Amida Sutra is one of the central texts of Pure Land Buddhism. In this sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha addresses Sariputra and the other disciples, describing the beauty of the Pure Land, the virtues of Amida Buddha, as the Buddha of infinite light and life, and urging that all sentient beings who hear this teaching should aspire for birth in that land. The sutra encourages that we should aspire for birth in the Pure Land by saying the honored name of Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu, with a heart and mind of true entrusting. During the chanting, we invite all Sangha members in attendance to please come up and offer incense if you wish, starting with the front rows and moving towards the back. Please use both incense burners. Please wait until I announce when to start the offering of the incense. Reverend Blaine will now commence with the chanting of the Amida Kyo.
Namandab, 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 namandab. Duset Amida Kyo Nyozen Amo Nichiji Buttenzai Shaeng Gijin Gigo Dokuon Yodai
At this time, we will begin the offering of incense, starting from the front row and moving towards the back. Again, please use both incense burners.
Rihata Shri Hannanga Nanda Ananda Ragora Kyobona Dai Binsuru Harada Karunai Makako Hinna Hakura Anuruna Ryoseto Shodai Deshi Byosho Bosat Makasan Monju Shiri Hoji Aita Bosat Kenda Kadai Bosat Josho Jin Bosat Yonyo Zeto Shodai Bosat Gushaku Dai Kaninto Muryo Shoten Dai Shugun Niji Butengo Choro Sharion Juse Sai Ho Kaju Man Noku Butendo Use Kai Myo Wat Gokuraku Godo Ubun Go Amida Kongen Sai Sepo Shari Oten Hidongako Myo In Gokuraku Gokoku Shujo Mushugu Tanju Shoraku Gomyo Gokuraku Sharion Gokura Gokudo Shichiju Ranju Shichiju Ramo Shichiju Goju Kaize Shiho Shuso Inyo Zeko Higo Myo Wat Gokura 无沙利吽極楽極道无是婆伽苦毒随十万国主七大順に根社富士四辺街道今後流理ハリンゴ上上右老学薬位今後流理ハリシャコ釈主名の二言直視四十伝下大名車輪小式小古大式用語釈式釈古白式白古未門語月車利音極楽極道上旬行税苦毒将軍無沙利吽非部極道上沙天学黄金二次昼夜六時にうまんなら言語国主上上位小単各位英国上主名下供養他法順万の分即位時期次元と本国凡時期教行沙利吽極楽極道上旬行税苦毒将軍武士沙利吽異国上右主従奇妙座敷市長白国弱オムシャリカリビンガ愚名市長税所首長昼夜六時水和下音五音年書五根五力七母大文八書道文尿税等合同主張門税音に開始年分年法年素沙利吽尿門に市場実税財宝少々小医者が異部極道無三脈主沙利吽極部極道小無三脈道司名学教宇治税所主張改税阿弥陀仏欲量法温泉流変化少佐沙利吽非部極道二不水道小法五十有法ダモ睡眠妙音非尿薬泉順学同時空三門税音社外人年上年仏年法年相死心沙利吽武功極道上旬行税苦毒将軍ナマンナベナマンナベナマンナベナマンナベナマンナベナマンナベ願にしぐどく平等 sei sai no mo nai shin o jo Namana bu namana bu namana bu namana bu namana bu namana namanda 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 namanda.
Please rise for the singing of the Gatha, Homeward I Go. Words can be found on the handouts or on your screen. Please be seated. Thank you, Betty. Did we pass? For new timers, sometimes she makes us sing it again. Uh, This morning, I am happy to introduce to you Reverend Kerry Kiyohara, resident minister of Makawao Buddhist Temple on Maui, serving Humpa Honganji Mission of Hawaii. Reverend Kerry was ordained in 2016 and graduated from Chuo Bukkyo Gakuen Seminary in Kyoto. He was certified as a teacher of Buddha Dharma in 2018. Prior to embarking on his Jodo Shinshu ministerial career, Reverend Kerry previously worked as a corporate executive, consultant, and writer in Los Angeles, Tokyo, Beijing, Shanghai, and Honolulu. He graduated with a BA and MBA degrees from the University of Southern California. Reverend Kerry speaks American English, fluent Japanese, basic Spanish, and I like this one, survival Chinese, but struggles daily with the kind Hawaiian Creole English. Reverend Kerry is married to Mimi, and they are delighted to be grandparents of an 11-year-old granddaughter, Melody, and a 3-year-old grandson. Please give a warm welcome aloha to Reverend Kerry and Mimi and Melody, who are here with us today. Can Mimi and Melody please stand for?
Good morning, everyone. A little bit closer. Well, thank you for the wonderful introduction, which I wrote. I stole that joke from the Reverend Alan Urosaki, by the way. So if you're watching, that's your joke. We just did the first half of the Amida Kyo, the sutra on the Tathagata Amida. In that sutra, there's some very famous lines, including this one, which actually is the second half, so we didn't get there today. But there's an expression in Japanese called ku e isho. Slides. Let's see, we need to go to slide view, or it doesn't show, I guess. Anyway, it's coming up. There we go. Just say mahalo, mahalo. And the first slide. Sort of. There we go. So there is this four-character set, ku e isho, which translated would mean born into the Pure Land, we shall be together again. Again, this is the wisdom of Shakyamuni Buddha in the Busetsu Amida Kyo, the sutra in praise of Amida Buddha. You will see this if you have seen the old funeral scroll pictures. Very often you'll see these four characters written on some of the things in the photograph. Also, you will find the older grave sites will have this written in there. So again, this idea that we shall be together again is the promise of Jodo Shinshu. So Obon itself, which is honorific Bon, includes a number of different things, including the Hatsubon service, Bon Mairi, Bon Matsuri, Bon Odori, and here in Hawaii, Bon Dance. So Hatsubon is traditionally the first Bon memorial service in the memory of loved ones lost and all of one's honored ancestors. I'm sorry, Hatsubon is the first Bon memorial service for people who've lost a loved one since the last Obon, so in the past year. And then in Japan, Bon Mairi is the annual Bon memorial service in the memory of loved ones lost and all of one's honored ancestors. But traditionally, this is done in the home. So the priest would go to your house in front of the family, Butsudan. The family comes together for the Bon season, and you do a short service, which includes, I'll be talking about this, but includes a lot of what we did today. And in Hawaii, we often have joint services for Obon, here at the temple, like at a Sunday service like this morning. I kind of suspect it's like, yeah, we like Blaine, but we don't want him coming in our living room, just kind of have to clean things up. So many of the customs and traditions that we associate with Obon, which is a Japanese Buddhist observance, are actually Chinese and Confucian in origin. And it merged with the Buddhist and native beliefs in Japan in about the 4th or 5th century when Buddhism comes to Japan. And then, right, were imported 150 years ago to Hawaii with the great wave of immigration that started 150 years ago. So the idea that the spirits of our ancestors come back to this world during the Obon season is derived from the Chinese Hungry Ghost Festival, which is actually very similar to Dia de los Muertos, Dia de los Muertos in Mexican culture. So if you saw the Pixar movie, Coco, that's what it was about. And actually also the original pagan conception of All Hallows Eve which we now know as Halloween. But the existence of so many rituals and ceremonies and festivals across cultures, I mean, every culture, right? It just underlines this universal human desire to remain connected, to our departed loved ones. So this longing for reconnection, for continuing spiritual relationship with our departed loved ones, it's universal. It's universal. It's compelling. It's powerful. And it unites us all as human beings. So in the Honganji tradition, Obon is known as the gathering of joy, Kangi-e, because we are reminded, Obon reminds us of our debt of gratitude to our loved ones, our departed loved ones, our departed dear friends, our honored ancestors, and even our companions in life. So it could be a pet that you remember, but was a companion, was there with you in this life. And when we do this, we remember, we reflect, and we reconnect with these feelings and emotions, and we're grateful. We're grateful. We're reminded that we're still connected and filled with gratitude, for reconnecting with our memories and emotions and feelings for our departed loved ones and dear friends. We dance in joy. This is the original meaning of Obon. So here in Hawaii, of course, we have a mixed plate. Actually, it's mixed plate, I understand. I was corrected once. We have a mixed plate of traditions here for Obon. So for some people, Obon is a religious observance. So like this morning's service is the Bon Memorial Service. For others, Obon is a lot of hard work. We both had our Bon dances on the same weekend, and I'm looking at Blaine's pictures, and he's probably looking at mine going, oh, whew, it's just so busy. There's less people, and the people who are left are older, so it's getting harder and harder to do this every year, right? For others, Obon, it's a lot of hard work. You got to set up the yagoda, you got to set up the lights, the lanterns, the altar, and the all-important food. You cannot have a Honganji event without food. One of our members, she's often asked, oh, you're Buddhist. What's your practice? She goes, well, I'm a Honganji Buddhist. Our practice is eating. End, right? Very Buddhist. It just stops right there. But if you think about it, have you ever been to a Honganji event where the main topic of conversation during the planning was, what are we going to make for the meal? What if we run out? We better make twice as much. And how are we going to take all the leftovers home? No, it's a religious thing. We should be talking about the religious stuff. Nah, keep it short, sensei. Sing in English, please. And for others, right, Obon is just great fun because you can be with your friends, you bon dance the night away, you catch up with your old friends, you make new friends, you're talking story, and you're eating mountains of food. And then you start dancing again. So it is tradition, of course, to put up the chochin lanterns, which is to welcome the spirits of our ancestors back, to guide them here, saying, hello, we're here, just in case you forgot, it's over here. And again, in tradition, we wear kimono or yukata, hapikotes, you put on the towels and stuff. And dedicated temple members will spend days, like literally 2 weeks, preparing the mountains of food, right, which we sell as fundraiser, very important fundraiser for the temple. But it's also a way to give back to the community. So thank you to this greater community for letting us be here for 100 years. We have been allowed to be in this community, in this place. It causes and conditions, yes, a lot of hard work, obviously, to make this temple and sustain it. But it is Hawaii, it is the Big Island, it is the people who live here who allowed us to do this. And also, by the way, staying in the kitchen is a good way so you don't have to dance. So if you're shy, it's got, oh, I've got to chop up some carrots here. I'm just kind of busy. Oh, the Bon dance is over. Oh, darn, missed it again this year for the 40th year in a row. And here in Hawaii, Bon Odori, so literally, right, Bon dancing or Bon dance, evolved into Bon dance, which, did you know, Bon dance is actually only used in Hawaii. On the West Coast, we don't say, well, we could say a Bon dance, but you don't say, hey, I'm going to a Bon dance. You say, I'm going to Obon at the temple or whatever. And I have a whole talk about why that's so in Southern California. But what's called a Bon dance here, you're never going to see some of these moves in Japan. You go to Japan, it's like, what are they doing? So it's kind of interesting, actually. And there's always games for the kids. So grandparents, your grandchildren are going to spend all of your 401k money. So pull it out and just big bundles of cash, get ready to spend it all. I didn't put it in the slideshow, but I have a picture of Melody when she was 6 years old. So when I first started, I was a guest speaker at Lahaina. We went to the Bon Dance, and I think we must have spent about an hour and a half at the game booth. And in the end, we started giving the prizes back because they were running out of prizes. But I figured, hey, it's a donation to the temple. Come on. If I actually included, I didn't want to embarrass her because she's 11 now, but if you look at it, she just has this look on her face like, yes. So the gathering of joy, it's different for different people. And in Hawaii, we're also very lucky to have exciting taiko performances. And I understand you have a very good taiko group here. In Japan, taiko is just the accompaniment. It's to the bon, it's to keep the beat for the bon dance music. Dun, dun, dun. It's not like, yeah, look at me. Dun, 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 dun. Performance taiko actually originated in America. And so we're really lucky to have these things. So at Makawau's Bon Dance last weekend, or last weekend, we had Zenshin Daiko, which is a Maui kids group. They're amazing. And also Maui Taiko, which you may have they do the Fukushima Onba. And it's always a spectacular show. And then at the end of the Obon season, we do you're probably familiar with the Floating Lantern Festival in Honolulu, Toro Nagashi. So we put lanterns with lights to guide the spirits back to the other side. So, and if you've seen the Lantern Floating Festival in Honolulu, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So we love and respect our honored ancestors. Well, we don't want them hanging around for more than a week. So it's like, that way, go back, go back, go back. Now, the Buddha taught the truth of non-self, Atman in Sanskrit. So as Buddhists, we don't believe in the eternal soul. So in other words, the permanent, unchanging essence of Kerry. Right? We don't believe that this continues on. So, and in fact, right, the Buddha taught that it is our egocentric attachment to this idea of me, my ego, myself, me, that this is what creates unhappiness and suffering in our lives, but also in the lives of other people and also in society. So I think if you look at some of the divisions that are happening in our nation today, you can see this. It's like, me, you're wrong, I'm right. It's about me. It's about the world must revolve around me. And if it doesn't, I'm not happy. Bah! And if you have billions of people who are self-centered like that, you can see why we're butting heads all over the place. Right? You can see where conflict comes from. But that's why Buddhists, right, as Buddhists, we don't actually literally believe that the spirits or the ghosts of our ancestors come back during the Bon season or any other time. And Jodo Shinshu Honganji priests, so Blaine and I are ordained as priests in this tradition, we don't perform rites and rituals, or hold the memorial service to pray for the repose of the souls of our ancestors. So in other words, chanting the Amida Kyo Sutra, it's not for the benefit of our ancestors or our departed loved ones, or to ensure their birth in the good part of the Pure Land. If you actually study the doctrine, it's kind of interesting. There's actually really good parts of the Pure Land and less good parts. The borderlands, the hinterlands get trapped inside the lotus thing. Ask Reverend Blaine about it. I'm sure he'd be happy to explain the different levels that exist in the Pure Land. Because as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists in the Honganji tradition, without a doubt, we know Amida's great compassion and wisdom embraced our loved ones during their unrepeatable lives, assured them of birth into the Pure Land, becoming Buddha, becoming one with Amida, and returning to this world to guide other people. But we know this without a doubt. This is the faith of Shinjin. This is the whole point to what we're doing. So we know this. We know that you don't need the priest to come to your house and do a service to make sure that the spirit of grandpa is stays in the good part of the Pure Land. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. And so, Jodo Shinshu, Honganji rituals and ceremonies, they're performed for the people who are left behind, the people who are here. It creates the time and the place and the occasion for families, for the ohana to come together, to remember, to reflect, and to express our gratitude. Right? It's one thing to feel grateful. It's another to say it, to express it. Right? You can say thank you, but you can also dance, enjoy. You can also spend 15 hours in the kitchen making sushi. I helped Mimi, like I washed like 100 pounds of rice. Have you ever done that? I mean, I thought, oh, wash the rice, that's going to be easy, yeah. Okay, so you get 15 cups of this, you wash it out, and then they do that by 3 times, put in this big thing, and repeat until the 2 50-pound bags are gone. I thought, oh, okay, sure. Nobody else wants to do it. It's actually kind of fun because it's like, you get to play with the rice. So during my year at the Honganji Seminary in Kyoto, 2017 to 2018, the causes and conditions of my life, I mean, with the introduction, which again, I wrote, yeah, I'm showing off, but to go from son of a gardener to corporate expat executive in Tokyo, Beijing, and Shanghai, to be a freelance writer, to have done that for a little while, to start up advertising agencies in China, of all places. But as a result, I was totally fluent in Japanese, and I can read Chinese to some extent. So I have a sense of the language, etc. So all of these causes and conditions come together for my 1 year in Kyoto as a seminary student. And I was invited to perform Bon Mairi services. So the visitation to somebody's home to do this kind of service for 60 families over 6 days. 10 houses a day from morning to evening, wearing robes, the Japanese robes. I wasn't wearing a necktie, but the Japanese robes. Riding a hand-me-down bicycle. This is actor Dr. Miyagi's bicycle that he had gotten from somebody else, and then I just got it from him. Imagine riding through the streets in these robes in the hot and humid summer of Kyoto. It was quite the experience. It's quite the experience. Very often, Google Maps on would get lost. You have arrived. Your destination is on the left. But that's a gas station. I'm pretty sure I'm not doing the service in a gas station. And as it turns out, it's kind of like, you have to go in the alleyway to get behind a gas station. But as a result, I learned to do Sanbujo, invocation, and the Amida-kyo Sutra, and the Gobunsho letter in 20 minutes or less. So Reverend Bain was very kind of you today. I mean, he did it very, very, very slowly. So if you're chanting along, it's actually quite interesting. But if you did it, if you're going to do the full Amida-kyo, and the invocation, and the Gobunsho, you better learn to do it really fast. So when I do it, it's like Busetsu Amida-kyo, Nyose Gamon Ichichi Bunsai Shae Koku Inui Bunsai. Because if you don't do it at that speed, you're not going to finish. Okay, so 20 minutes later, we finished the service. And of course, this is Kyoto, so they have to give you a cup of tea, and they give you some amazing Kyoto sweets. Okay. And you have to, lovely. Thank you. Oh yes, I'm the exchange student from Hawaii. Yes, I'm from America. Would you like me to prove that? Yes, I'm from California, actually. Hello. Yeah. I'm a kotonk. That joke doesn't work in Japan, by the way. When I'm invited to speak for the first time at the temples here in Hawaii, it's always pretty clear. As soon as I open my mouth, it's like, this guy's not from here. So if you open with the, Ohayo gozaimasu, you can see that I'm a kotonk. So anyway, it's one of my first jokes coming here. I thought it was kind of funny. But after so many cups of tea, repeated cups of tea, the ability to find a public toilet in Kyoto, it was something I became very good at very, very quickly. They don't teach you this in the seminary, but you will learn to identify where the public toilets are. And I remember the laughter of the neighborhood kids. This is the summer, right? So they're on like summer break. So they see this Obo-san, this one, park his bicycle, take off the vestment, take off the robes, fold it up very carefully, put it in the basket of the bicycle, and I'm wearing the white undergarments, and try not to run into the bathroom. And a minute or two later, come out, and it's like, that's not man. You can see all the kids kind of going, hey, look at the old dude, man. Second time, they're like, he's back. The third time, they're like calling their friends, like, yeah, this old dude, he keeps coming back. So anyway, if you need to find public toilets in Kyoto, I can give you some good hints. Okay? But it's one of those things. It's just like, how did this happen? I was in my late 50s at this point. So this experience of conducting Bon Mairi services in the homes of so many families, to be invited into someone's home, right, helps me to understand the importance of meaning, ritual and ceremony in modern life. Even today, ceremony, ritual. It has deep meaning. So this Bon Mighty is a ritual and ceremony. It brings a renewed spiritual connection and a sense of comfort to the mothers, the fathers, the spouses, the sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, friends, the people who are left behind. The people who are left behind. So Obon brings the ohana, brings the extended family together. It creates a reason to put your busy life on hold. Push the pause button. You gather as a family and as people, as human beings. You talk story. You raise a glass or two or 25 of sake and beer, and you laugh. And yes, in Japan, they eat mountains of food too. But it's about reconnecting with the people who are in our lives right here, right now. So by remembering our honored ancestors, by remembering our departed loved ones, it reminds us, no, there's people in front of us right now, right now. And don't forget that. And this, right, it brings us together. We're celebrating the joy of life together as a family, as community, right? As human beings. Despite our differences, we all feel the same way. And this is the true meaning of Obon. Sometimes if you move your hand, it works. There you go. The guys in the back know what they're doing. So the retired Reverend Art Kaufman, who some of you may know, he taught me this. End-of-life rituals are for when we are overwhelmed by grief and sorrow, and we just don't know what else to do. I mean, even if the person who's departed, was in hospice, and they're at end of life, and that's where you go into hospice. It's not like you don't expect them to get better. That's why you go to hospice. But it's still a shock. It's still, the death of a loved one changes your world, and it'll never be the same again. And so Hatsubon, Bon Maidi, and Obon, so like this joint Obon memorial service, it teaches us the deeper meaning of rites and rituals. It's a way for us to express our inner longing for reconnection and connection. Right? So reconnection with our memories and feelings and thoughts about our honored ancestors, our departed loved ones, but also to remind us, right, this connection with the people in our lives right here, right now. Right? This is what Jodo Shinshu Buddhism is trying to teach us. So you probably heard the origin story of the Obon. And then we always, because we're Jodo Shinshu, we say, well, actually, we don't have superpowers, so we can't see, these things. But if you think of it this way, right, that it's all about, it's for us. Obon is for us. Yeah, and this, to our honor. Okay. I think that.
Oh, what's happening here?
So. Hello? That's okay. Something's picking it up. So the Buddha taught that one of the greatest human sufferings is to be separated from the people you love. Right? So to be forced to be apart from the people you love. This is one of the greatest human sufferings. It's the most fundamental of our suffering. So as everyone knows, right? Losing a loved one, whether it's a grandparent, a parent, uncle, auntie, sibling, spouse, partner, true friend, or sadly a child, right? It's the saddest and most painful of human experiences. The death of a loved one totally changes our world and it'll never be the same again. But nothing makes us more human. Nothing makes us more human than losing a loved one. There's no person, there's no family, there's no community whose lives have not been changed by the death of a loved one. Nothing's more universal than the grief we feel, the longing in our heart, the pain of missing the physical presence of the departed loved ones in our lives. And nothing is sadder than being the ones who are left behind in this human world of confusion and delusion. So for Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, Obon is a time to reflect upon the profound impact that our loved ones' lives had on ours and continue to have on our lives, and to express our gratitude and appreciation to them to rededicate ourselves to living this unrepeatable life to the fullest, in this moment, right here, right now, just as we are. Particularly with the people who are in front of us, who are in our lives right now. So the Buddha taught that nothing is permanent. All things and all beings are constantly changing. Nobody gets to live forever. We know this intellectually. Born human into this world, I too inevitably will disappear from this world. But it's awakening to the preciousness of this moment, of this day, of an unrepeatable life. This is the greatest gift that our ancestors and departed loved ones give to us. This is the greatest gift. Wake up. Hey, Gary, stop wasting time. What are you waiting for? What are you going to do today? So Buddhism teaches that all life is one, and we're infinitely interconnected and inextricably interdependent. Each of us in this room wouldn't be here without our mothers and fathers, without our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, countless generations of ancestors, immeasurable causes and conditions and situations that give rise to our lives as they are today. So each of us would not be who we are today without the dedication of teachers, the encouragement and support of our true friends, and the companionship of our beloved pet companions. So no one can exist in this world without other people or without other forms of life. Our lives are only possible through the benevolence, the kindness, the hard work of other people, some of whom we've never met and will never meet. We'll never meet some of these people who have resulted in our lives. Jodo Shinshu Buddhism teaches that when we inevitably pass from this world, we're born into the pure land of Amida Buddha, we become one with Amida, and then we return to this world of human confusion and delusion to guide others to their way, to the pure land. And so we say, Amida is the Tathagata, the Buddha of immeasurable life. And this is what we mean. So in the Jodo Shinshu Honganji tradition, this is immeasurable life. It's the same slide, but it's just the slide that says Ku-e Isho. So again, from the Amida Kyo Sutra, born into the Pure Land, we shall be together again. So today, months, weeks, days, hours, minutes, and seconds later, our loved ones continue to bring us, departed loved ones and honored ancestors, continue to bring us all here together as family and friends to hear the Dharma, to reflect upon the true nature of life, to find true meaning and purpose in this life. So our loved ones continue to influence our lives, to help us see the world as it is, not the way that our ego wants to see it. So our loved ones continue to guide us just as we are to true and real life. So please, if you will, close your eyes and think back. So remember a time that a departed loved one made you smile or laugh or feel loved most of all. Remember a time when your loved ones were kind and gentle to others, even perhaps if they didn't deserve it. And remember the times that your loved ones taught you an important lesson in living each moment of each day of this unrepeatable life to the fullest. Now please open your eyes and reflect upon these memories, these emotions, these feelings, right, which continue to show us the way, just as we are, just as we are. And by remembering your loved ones in this way, you inevitably begin to live a true and real life, by being kind and gentle to all, by being sincerely grateful for your life just as it is, and by being you just as you are. In the Jodo Shinshu Honganji tradition, we place our palms together, we bow our heads and say Namo Amida Butsu in gratitude, entrusting in all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion, the Buddha Amida. So Namo Amida Butsu is a very simple ritual. It's a very simple practice that can be performed by anyone, anywhere, anytime. In the simplicity of Namo Amida Butsu, you will discover deep and profound meaning in the action of expressing gratitude for our loved one's continuing influence in our lives and for the great compassion and wisdom of Amida Buddha, which has embraced us in this unrepeatable life. So as we remember our loved ones, our departed loved ones this Obon season, let us seek to repay our debt of gratitude to those who have gone on before us, for their gifts to us, for their influence on our lives, for their kindness, by deeply listening to the Buddha's teachings, so that as we realize Amida's wisdom in our hearts, we may manifest pure compassion to all beings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Mahalo for listening this morning, and may your Obon season be filled with aloha. Thank you. Namanda, namanda, namanda.
Thank you very much, Reverend Kerry, for that very insightful message. When you're talking about closing your eyes and thinking back, I thought about my grandma on my mom's side, Grandma Masatomi. And earlier, before the service, I was talking to Reverend Kerry. He was talking about his grandmother who makes manju, and my sister will attest that Grandma Yoshino's manju is something that made me smile a lot. Very much on point. Okay, moving forward. Hetty Casquillo Gray will now lead us in unison reading of our pledge. Please join her in the recitation. Words can be found on the handouts or on the screen for those in Zoom.
Reaching out to others, I will share a smile and gentle words, just like the Buddha who always calls out with aloha. Breaking away from anger and ignorance, I will try to live in peace and harmony, just like the Buddha who shares tranquility and kindness with all. Moving forward from self-centeredness, I will share a life of joy and sorrow with others, just like the Buddha, whose caring heart always embraces us. Realizing that I live because of others, I will strive to live life to the fullest with an attitude of gratitude, just like the Buddha, who promises to embrace us all. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Hetty. We will now have the offertory presentation. Mahalo for your generous dana, everyone. Please rise as we will conclude the service with singing of the Gatha Nembutsu. Please be seated. This concludes today's Obon family service. Here are some announcements. Next Sunday, August 6th at 10 a.m., we will be observing the 4th annual Hiroshima Remembrance Service, which will be hosted by the Kona Hiroshima Kenjin-kai. This service commemorates the 78th anniversary of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Guest speaker will be Mr. Tadashi Hosokawa, Chairman of the Board of Delica Wing Company Limited, and Honorary Chairman Hatsukaichi Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Hiroshima, Japan. There will be no Sunday service here at the Kona Honganji Temple on August 13th and 20th. However, you are welcome to attend Sunday service on August 13th at the Holualoa Temple at 10 a.m. It will be their Obon service. Oh, 9?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Okay, 10 o'clock. On Sunday, the 27th, 9 a.m., we will zoom into the Hawaii District Nembutsu Seminar Service, which will be hosted by or at Hompa Honganji Hilo Betsuin. Guest speaker will be Dr. Jeff Wilson from the University of Waterloo. You can choose to zoom in and watch the service online at home or come to the temple to participate together by viewing the service on the monitors. Reminders, please be sure to open, read, and click on attachments and interesting links that were included with Reverend Blaine's weekly update, which he emailed this past Friday. 2023 temple membership update forms have been mailed out and are also attached to Reverend Blaine's email. Please be sure to complete and return them as soon as possible. Mahalo. Free COVID test kits with expiration dates in October 2023 are still available. Please help yourself because COVID is still lurking out there. And just for reference, we put them away in the back Jiho room, so if anybody was looking for them. Any other announcement, Reverend Blaine or anyone else?
Just a big mahalo to my good friend, Reverend Kerry Kiyohara, and welcome to Mimi and Melody. I remember when Melody was just this high, and she's all grown up now. Thank you, Sensei, for sharing the Dharma with us. It's always good to see old friends from back in the day. So again, welcome and welcome to Kona. Thank you for joining us.
Before signing off, I wanted to extend a great mahalo and thank you for all of the dancers and spectators who came last Saturday. The Bon dance was really quite a success. A lot of people came, a lot of new faces. We had out-of-town guests. I don't know if you noticed that 7-year-old boy that was, well, probably 7-year-old boy that was playing taiko with us. Thank you to all the volunteers. You know, many of you out here were helping. It takes a village. Very grateful for the villagers we do have here. So, oh, by the way, there's a video posted on the Konohonganji YouTube channel if you want to see. There's a highlight reel there. So, again, thank you for everyone who came. Thank you for everyone who helped. It really was a success, all because of you.
You know, because it was our first actual Obon during the Obon season. It really made this year so special and so heartwarming to be together as Sangha, as community. Again, a big mahalo for all of your support for putting on such a undertaking, such a momentous undertaking. We were kind of out of practice, for a while. But you know, we all pulled together as a Sangha, as a temple, and really you know, welcome the community to our temple and to our home here. So that's what Obon's about family and friends and people celebrating. It really was a celebration. So a big mahalo for all that you do and have done and will continue to do for Kono Honganji. So.
You know, I already told Blaine this, but kind of a little story. So we had our taiko drummers, and they're gonna help set up before the dance. And so Reverend Blaine is up in the yagura, and he's doing the
The sambujo.
sambujo.
Mm.
And so he throws flowers out there, right? He's gonna spread the petals.
Mm.
And so the kids are getting ready to, get the Daifukuji group up and drumming and everything. So they right there, and Reverend Blaine throws the petals out there, and the flowers all hit the floor. And one of the drummers looks at me and says, "Do we have to pick that up?" And so me, I just go, "Yeah." And they're like, like he's littering, right? He's literally littering. And I know he's gonna do it 2 more times. So next time up, he throws it again. She looks at me like, he keeps throwing these flowers. And so anyway, but before they had to pick it up, I said, "No, just kidding, just leave them on the ground." But it's kind of a funny story because the kids are looking at Reverend Blaine like he's literally throwing all these flowers all over the place, and we gotta get him. Anyway, I, it was truly grateful that Reverend Blaine did Hatsubon on Saturday because we really used the Sunday time off. Anyway, yeah. Again, thank you, Reverend Kiyohara, for being our guest speaker, and to your family for joining us. To our sangha, mahalo for your physical and virtual attendance. For those of you on Zoom, you may leave at any time. Those of you here today, refreshments will be served in the social hall. Much appreciation to Lynn Katayama, Lisa Siriaco, and anyone else who brought goodies to share. Please be safe. We look forward to seeing you in person or online at future services. Thank you again.